First of all, we're going to have this set list playing in the background. I don't know if you can hear it, but this is what my goofy tribute band is working on right now. Okay, so you have a soundtrack to this video. Okay, we'll go as quickly as possible. You want to bookmark this. This is the main blog page / blog, and it's chronologically going to pull in all of the most recent blogs. So here's the last one that's been created. This is a test blog that I kind of created, and it's actually the template. So, and here's an excerpt right there. So you can click on it and go to that blog. If you scroll down, it's the next most recent blog. This will all be chronological, and it'll list them all as you go down. So, if you click on this blog, this is what you get. So, this is the actual blog, and I'll show you it broken apart here in a minute. But it's got, I just put like a template, a photo in the middle in case you wanted to add a photo right there. Then there's another kind of 3-column area with 3 images, just so you can have it. You can turn it off or delete it or whatever in your own post. Then there's some more text, and then it's just a reminder, oh, make sure you get 300 words. A couple things like there's some extra space in here. I'm going to go into the style sheet, the CSS, and I'll kind of help to reduce some of that. Same thing at the top in this template. There's some space, but that's sort of built into the back end, and I'll be fixing that. It doesn't impact your, it's basically outside of your individual blog post. Okay, so we're going to go, and let's assume that you wanted to go and create a new post. Okay, so this black thing up here is the you're in the dashboard. You're looking at the dashboard. So if you log in, you're going to see basically, I think you start here at this dashboard. No, wait a minute, I can't remember where you start. Anyway, you'll see a here it is. You'll see this dashboard, but you won't have as many options over here. So you can go straight up to new post, or you can go over here, posts. You can see all the posts, etc. Okay, so let's select add new, and from here we're going to say Friday test post. And you don't need to change the right side, or you don't need to change any of that stuff. One thing I think I pointed out before, screen options. If you click on this, there may be some things that you want to turn on or off. You must you'll want you don't need trackbacks, custom fields. You do want the author tag and most of the rest of that stuff. But in case you're not seeing everything, and I'll show you the author tag real quickly, is right down here. So if I wrote this and you wanted to change it to somebody else, you can change it right there. Let's jump while we're here. The excerpt is what shows up in the chronological. It's right here. So that right there, that thing that shows up right there, if you don't write it in the excerpt area, it'll just pull from the beginning of the blog. So this lets you control exactly what appears chronologically. Okay, so I typed in Friday test post, and it automatically creates the name for us, which is good. We don't have to do that. Next thing we're going to do is this button, the Divi Builder. Divi is your theme. WordPress is obviously the content management system, but every WordPress site has a theme. You can have the default themes from WordPress. We have a really high-end theme called Divi. It's very powerful. It'll ask you this. You can just say start building, and you can X that out, because what we're going to do is we're going to load a template before we do anything else. So what you do is you go over here and load from library. So we're loading a layout, not like you can load, if you can save a section, if we had one here, there'd be a row and module. You can save all those things. The entire page is a layout. So what we're going to do is we're going to load the pre-configured layout that basically is this. This is a blog, this is one blog that. So we're going to load this particular blog template, and it's right here, and it's saved. So there are pre-made layouts. You don't want those. There are your existing pages. You can actually pull from like if I click that, it'll show you that's a post. There it is. In fact, that's a post. There's other pages, but we're in post, so it's kind of it's showing us the post first. I could click this, or I could go to, and that's it. So, but I'll just show you another way. Save layouts. You're having a hard time finding it. Well, I categorized it. It's the only one that's categorized as a blog. So there it is, 2019 blog post template. That's what you want every time and we may make some modifications to it, but we'll always call it that. So it pulled in all that stuff and it changed everything else on the page. I'm going to close this right here and let's just go do a preview. So I think I mentioned this in our training. You don't want to publish a blog until you're really ready to publish a blog. As soon as you do, anybody that's subscribed has gotten it. So you may want to save it as a draft. So let's go ahead and save it as a draft. That means it's just saved locally on the server. You haven't put it out for the world to see. So it's saving as a draft, and then once it does, so basically you saved it. You have a copy of it local. You haven't published it, but let's hit the preview button, and this will open up. Again, you're not publishing it. You're basically, you'll see a new tab open up. You're just showing it locally. You're publishing it locally. You're not publishing it. You're putting it in your own browser. So this is just a local view. Okay, so you can see Friday test post. Okay, there's all the stuff that was in that other one, the images. But the thing that's missing is that featured image at the top, because that's not part of that saved thing. So again, if you go back to this image right here, is the featured image, which appears on the individual blog, but it also appears and is the representative photo on the chronological listing of every blog. So there it is at the top. There's that one's featured image. There's this one's featured image. You'll notice in this individual blog, not only does it show the featured image at the top, but any other images or copy we added are also shown. So let's go grab a, let's go back to the post editor, and it's right down here at the bottom, that featured image. So let's set the featured image for this. We'll do something different. Let's do your office. Let's see, how big is that photo? You can click on it, and then it'll tell you it's 600 pixels wide. I'm not sure. I think that's big enough. Let's pick something a little bigger. All right, that's plenty big enough. 1920 is the full width of your screen, and we don't need it to be that wide. So set the featured image. There it is. Now when we, and let's go ahead and say this is where you type the excerpt text in. Then a couple of times. What the heck? Okay. So if we preview it now, it will show you that we now have. So there's no image here, no image here. It's about to populate. There it is. So that's where underneath your title, it's going to populate right there. Okay. So the categories, there are a couple of them already listed in here. If you don't do anything, it'll default to other. But you can click one or more, whichever ones are relevant. If you don't see one you want, you can just click this, and you can literally just, new, let's see, what would be, say you had one called glasses. And you can just add it right here. Don't worry about parent category. Just click add new category, and it will, there you go. So the categories, if the category is pizza, the tags are pepperoni, mushroom, bell pepper. And you'll use categories more than one time, but you may not use a tag more than once. You may have a tag called, if you had a booth at the ACL Festival, you might have a tag called ACL Festival. So that's tags. Always have categories. Consider whether tags are relevant. You don't have to worry about the worth the read. Let's see what else. Okay, so the blue is a section. Basically, we have one section on this entire page, and within each section is at least one row. So here's a row that has sort of this little spacer. Here's the text. If I click on this, you'll see the text. You can add a headline here. So that's right here. There's your featured image. There's their first block of text. Now it gets down. Now it goes down to this photo right here is represented by this image right here. And the reason I did it I could have actually just put the image right there, and it would have been fine. What this does is, like for this one, for example, it's a different row. This row is, I'm going to click on the column structure. You can see it's 3 columns wide. Okay. That's why I put this one in a different row. And then this 3 columns wide turns back into a single column wide. So it goes single column of text, 3 columns of images, 1 column of image, 1 column of text. It's as simple as that. So you click on any one of these to edit it. If you wanted to close any of these for any reason, like you can kind of close up, that, open and close it. You can hide or unhide things. If you didn't want this image, what I would do is just go in here and just delete the whole row. So if this is your template and all you're going to have is text and a featured image, well, I would go in here and I would delete this, and I would delete this, and I would also delete this. So all these down here you wouldn't need. Those would all be useless. So you can see you probably only need 1 section. If you wanted to duplicate this section and create some other things similar to it, I could duplicate the whole section. Well, now here it is down here. And say, I don't know why you need to do that, but we don't have a lot of, this would be if you're going to save it to a library. If you wanted to load a section from a library, you can do that too. Mostly you're just going to load the one thing that we've created. All right, so if you want to see this on the front end, it's build on the front end. And you may want to do that to be able to get into doing some of the spacing and stuff, to be able to kind of do some of the custom spacing. You shouldn't have to do a whole lot of it. It's going to be pretty much set up for that. I think I already have my connection is really slow, and I don't know why today. So you shouldn't have the same kind of trouble. Like the spacing's pretty good here. If you go into this mode, know that this little purple thing right here, you have to open it up. So you click it to open it, and now you've got all this other functionality. For example, save draft or to publish. So you can also view this we're in the desktop mode. So you want to see what it's going to look like in mobile. Click the phone, and it'll say, here you go. So in case there's anything odd here in terms of the way, like too much spacing, like you might say that's kind of a lot of spacing for mobile. So you can see once you mouse over some of this stuff that you can kind of click and drag these things up to be a little tighter. So if you want to fuss over it and add a little spacing or remove a little spacing, when you change spacing, you're only doing it in whatever mode you're in. So we're in mobile. All we did was change the spacing right there for between the top and that. So now we look at tablet, and let's see how that looks. That's probably fine. And I think we already saw it in desktop. And I think the spacing was fine. That's fine for desktop. Okay, we've got a little spacer right here. In fact, that little gray, when I click on it, and you'll see it's basically a little divider that has 20 pixels of margin at the top that we sort of stick in there just to make sure and give us a little space, force a little space between the headline and the image. Okay, so I'm going to pause this for a minute. And I'm going to save this draft, but I'm going to pause this for a second and see where are we? If I can find our pause button. There it is. Okay, so that's pretty much the blog. I'm going to show you now the SEO portion of it. So we have this SEO tool that's installed here. You kind of close it. It basically looks like that, Yoast SEO. And what you'll do, it'll kind of walk you through the optimization. So the most important thing is basically make the blog be what it's about. So we have this thing called Friday Test Post. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create a keyword phrase that this thing needs to be about. So let's say it's LASIK options in Lake Travis. Actually, what we're going to do is make that LASIK in Lake Travis. Okay, so that's our keyword phrase, and as much as possible, you want to take that. So we're actually going to go up here, and we're going to make this thing literally called LASIK in Lake Travis, because this title of the page, when it matches your keyword phrase, is going to help you. So once we change that, we remember, oh, we need to go and change what the URL of this post is, because Google wants to see that too. The more it's about LASIK in Lake Travis, we'll hit OK, and it'll automatically add all the hyphens. All right, good. 1, 2, good. Those 2 things are about it. And you'll start to get a better score. So right now, this orange dot says we're not doing so well in terms of ranking. So it's showing you in advance here what it's going to look like when somebody searches. So you want to edit this and modify right here when we type down here what this description's about. So it could be Lake Travis Eye and Laser Center offers LASIK in the Lake Travis area. And that's not, this could be better. I mean, that's more of an ad than it is really like content, but whatever your keyword phrase is, get it into this. And it's kind of saying, LASIK and Lake Travis. It goes Lake Travis and LASIK. Okay, good. It's seeing those two keywords, and it's not exactly written in the order that it's in, but you're okay because Google's smart enough for that. So you can see that you have more, and you should type more here because you should give a bigger description. You can't go beyond, but you're going to get a better score the more you kind of fill up this little description area right here, and then. You'll kind of go through this. It will start when you check on. Let's see, where is the readability analysis? Yeah, it'll kind of tell you some things and give you a score and tell you where you can improve. So sentence link transition words. Okay, you're not doing so well there. The SEO analysis is what's really critical. So it's going to say, hey, some of these things you're not going to rank so well. Is the key phrase in the slug? Yeah, we did that. It's in the title. Good job. We don't have internal links. There's nothing, it'll tell you add some. It kind of walks you through. There's no outbound links. You do want to link externally outside of your domain. So if you link to some eye surgery center, have it open up in a new tab, but it's going to recognize that, oh, you're a source of information. It's going to like that. Get the keyword or synonyms into the first paragraph. And so the keyword was found 0 times. It's not even in the copy. You need to get this keyword phrase, LASIK and Lake Travis, into the copy. The meta description link is too short. I mentioned that. So this is too short. You got to have more to say. And the image alt attributes, I'll show you that. Let's run over there. So in the media library, let's open up your library in a new tab. And I can't remember what image I think it was this one, and I don't really want to modify this image, but this title right here, if you can get it into, your alt text, if you can say LASIK and Lake Travis, you're basically telling the robots that's what this is about. And I'll go ahead and leave that in there, but add the alt text into that title, and it basically automatically saves. So it's saved right there. So when you upload an image, know what you're going to optimize your page for, and that way you can be good to go. So if we were to change as we change some of these things will start to turn from red to orange to green, and you're not going to get everything green. Don't worry about it. But but once you eliminate some of the reds, eliminate some of the oranges, this overall score will change to green. So that's what you want. Get as many of those things in as possible, and you'll be optimized. Make the site be what it's about. So if I go in here and your headlines can be about it, but if somewhere in the copy it was like, we offer LASIK surgery for Lake Travis residents, and that. You'll get credit. So also what you want to do is, if that's a link to your actual LASIK surgery stuff, that's even better. So let's see so I'm going to click on that link button, click in here, start typing LASI, and you've got 2 pages. Say we link to that one, hit enter. What I like to do is make them bold and italic to really make your links pop. So there you go. Now you've got LASIK surgery, Lake Travis as an actual link, internal, pointing to your internal content. You're going to get credit for that. Okay. So, but just getting into the copy. So if you had it down here in this copy also, so remember, you'd want it in the headline too. So remember to schedule a session to discuss how you can have LASIK. And this is weird because this doesn't sound like what you would write, how to have, LASIK in like Travis. It doesn't always have to be a link, but just get it in there a couple of times. Don't make it awkward. And that makes you think about what your phrases are. Oh, I forgot to turn the music back on. Dang. And it was playing Journey too. Here's a better song. Okay, so I'm going to pause it. All right, I unpaused because I wanted to think of a couple other things. But one is we're in draft mode. You won't change the visibility unless for some reason you wanted to turn it off or make it private or password protected. Everything by default is going to be public. If you're ready to publish it, you just hit publish. If you want to write a couple and schedule them, well, here you go. So if I schedule this for July 14th, 2019, that's military time. That'd be 6:01. You hit OK. It'll publish at that date. And that's how you publish for future dates. I already talked about categories. Down here at the bottom, cornerstone content. If you have 5 or 6 blogs that are really your thing, go in and mark them as cornerstone content. You're basically telling the Google bots, hey, this is what we're all about. I think that's about it. I was hoping this was going to be 15 minutes, and it went to 21, and it's still going because I'm still talking. But I would say bookmark this, and I think this will give you your kind of reminders. I may tell you, hey, you may want to put this on, if you're watching it on YouTube, double the speed or something so it can go a little faster. But I hope this is helpful.